Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Biola Labi.
I'm Tundra Abiola.
And I'm Veronica Adeka. Welcome back.
Startups, or as they are more widely known, small and medium-scale enterprises require substantial amounts of capital to cut their corporate teeth. In the stable atmosphere of Nigeria's economy, the risk involved could be much for people in this economic bracket to bear. However, technology companies, many of them based here in Lagos, and a reasonable number in next-door Ogun State, have been making critical interventions to engage startups or small and medium-scale enterprises with a view to guiding their businesses from the point of view of ideation, incubation, fertilization. To try to get a clearer understanding of all these, we're now being joined by Ayoola Olaniyi, the Chief Executive Officer of Vervetree, a technology business incubator with special focus on in-school talent studying in tertiary institutions across Nigeria, and Damilola Ogunfowora, who is the project coordinator for Tech Summit Ogun. And Ibukun as well. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, can you start by telling us about the Tech Summit, which you just recently concluded?
The reason behind the Tech Summit we just concluded is actually the second edition.
Oh,
we had one last year, January. We found out that Ogun State, as you know it, is bigger than what people see outside. And when you talk about tech innovation or tech anything in Nigeria, Ogun State is practically not visible. And it's so sad because we have the largest number of tertiary institutions in Nigeria, 26 in all. And that enough is, it shows that we have a pool of talent that we can actually pick on. So we now said, how can we start a conversation and start building an ecosystem that will support this critical mass when you talk about development, which are the young brains.
Yes.
So yes, last year we had the first edition to start a conversation which was tagged Disruptive Innovations.
Okay.
Where are we? Which we brought in key people in the industry, Boson Tijani, Kola Aino, Sheni Sulaiman of Andela, and Tolu Ogunlesi. That was when the whole conversation started, and the whole world now, Ogun State is actually ready for tech summits, for tech innovation and development.
Yes.
So this year, moving forward to 2019, after Tech Summit last year, we had a series of engagements with almost all the tertiary institutions. We now found out that, fine, actually they've been doing something, but most of them don't really have the proper knowledge of what to do. When it comes to branding, you hear a series of brand names that are not even marketable. They are not visible. They don't even know how to access funds. So that was why we came up with this year's edition of Tech Summit, focusing solely on startup financing, branding, you're putting your company at the right place at the right time to help them also learn what networking can do for them. So that's the reason behind this year's edition.
How did it go?
Well, Tech Summit Ogun 2019 was awesome. All right, the feedback has been overwhelming, and quite a number of people, most of our speakers came in from Lagos, from Abuja, from all over, and they've been so impressed. Most of them told us that we were not really expecting that Ogun State has this pool of talent, this pool of creatives, because the engagement, like Nei said, was to actually expose these attendees to a series of startup financing channels that they could leverage on for their businesses, and also to expose them to a lot of branding ideas that they could use to scale up their businesses as well. We also talked about ideation to growth, because most of these startups are really interested in scaling up their businesses, but they don't know the design thinking process to go. So most of these sessions we had also exposed all of them. The participants, Twitter is actually on fire right now because they are yet to get over all of this engagement. The feedback has been really wonderful.
Does it open, there's a tech summit such as this, open up the possibilities for career advancement, or is this solely the purpose for information for businesses?
All right, so we actually went beyond just for information.
Okay.
All right, so this year, most of our engagements with so far since 2018, because we don't like to just stop there. All right, so 2018 gave room for an hackathon that actually identified 5 startups. A lot of them are doing very well right now. Some of them are in Canada, and one of them is in Athena right now. And it's been wonderful. So
excuse me, are the startups, when you talk about the startups, are you looking specifically for Nigerians that have these startups, right? That are, even if they're global?
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right. So this year, we have a series of engagements that will follow, okay? A lot of these startups that were around, one of them actually won, we had giveaway sessions, and one of them actually won an acceleration. There was a giveaway for us to go into an accelerator. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of follow-up events, hackathons that's going to even find out how much of the information they gathered has helped their businesses. All right. So most of the startups that came last year that didn't really do so well, if they go back with the information they have now, they would also be able to improve on their businesses and on their startups.
So give me a sense of how many, from Tech Summit, from last year to this year, how many hubs are actually in Ogun State?
All right, so last year started off the conversation, right? And a lot of people, like Nate said, have been trying to do stuff within their own capacity, all right? At the top of my head right now, I can count about 5.
Okay. Are they attached to universities so that there's a direct pipeline from the university, or that they're actually working in conjunction with the curriculum in the universities?
Okay,
How
so I can speak for us.
Please.
And, we have special interest in students of tertiary institutions in the state. All right, so we have, Vervetree and Rockspace is also an enabler in Ogun State. So we have special interest in tertiary institutions, and most of our project is aligned with them. We have an MOU with all of these tertiary institutions, so that allows us to go into school and also engage the students, find out talent from them, right? And continuing from Tech Summit Ogun 2019, by the time the hub becomes fully functional, right, the Vervetree hub becomes fully functional, most of these startups are going to be brought into the hub, right? And they're going to go over a 13-week training, a 13-week intensive capacity development, not just with their talent, but even on those soft skills that they need to actually engage people and all that. So it's actually a full bunch. So,
Ibukun, let me ask you, can you give us a sense of how much some of these startups need? Like, where does it start? Like, someone says, look, I need 5. Like, how much do they need to get started? How easy is it? How easy is it for people to invest in these startups?
Well, I think the most important thing before we talk about money is soft skill. Yeah, because I think that's one of the reasons we have this knowledge event, is to equip them with the soft skills first. Well, and usually hubs require a lot of money, but because of the value they are giving out to the society, and because of the value they are giving out, there's creation of jobs, and then there's solutions, because usually they create products and solutions to help the economy. So, well, not so much, but I think if we're going to give you a range, it depends on what they're doing.
But I think it's important to give people a number at home, because people are at home. Let me tell you this. Yesterday, Slack had an IPO this week. People that invested $25,000 now have about $400 million. That's the upside of it. So I think people at home are sitting there going, I want to be part of these type of revolutions, these type of, investments. So give us a sense. Because I'm part of Lagos Angel Network, so I invest in tech companies. So for me, I'm always saying, how much is the base? How much do we need to start investing in these companies so that in 25 years, I also want my 400.
There's a simple example I always give is Iroko TV. If you had invested in Iroko TV a long time ago, you have over 1,000% in profits. So giving a definite figure, there's something we're working on right now. Swift Stream is a localized streaming app for, if you check the whole of West Africa, there's no localized streaming app. What we all do is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So we now found out, okay, let's have our own localized streaming app. And we've gone over 70%. We've spent well over 7-8 million. And we are still in the process. So if we want to bring an investor into it, to come and invest in us, we're not going to say, pay us back the 7 million. We are going to do the projection like, right now we know if SwiftStream come into full scale, it's going to bring in a whole lot of funds, a whole lot of money. So bringing in, give or take, depending on the idea, depending on what you want to address. And one other example is, I will always use Shema as an example. If you want to invest in budget is not going to be making profits. budget provides information, learning events. So if you're investing in budget and expecting a quick turnover, it's going to be, I don't know, I'm going to put it now.
Sure. So I think there's a huge opportunity here for you guys to create something in which early stage investors can come in, which is why they call them angels. So angel investors can invest as low as 500,000 all the way up to 5 million, and that's what that's the type of community you want to breed and develop in Ogun State.
Talking about how much these startups need to scale up or even start out in the first instance, when Max.ng came into Nigeria, all right, I'm sure they raised about $2 million, and just yesterday or 2 days ago, they raised about $7 million, right? And they're going to expand into a whole lot of other things. I think they started out with logistics and then transportation. So now I think they want to do their own form of Uber, right?
Yeah, their mobility. So they're going to really they're going to really solve that space of mobility. So guys, I don't want us to get too entrenched in other people's success. What I want to do is talk about the ecosystem you're creating in Ogun State. So you have Tech Summit now. There's obviously a euphoria after Tech Summit. What now do you hope, what are sort of the top 5 things that you want people to sort of start to do now in Ogun State? Because, I mean, Ogun State is a hop, skip, and a jump from Lagos. And so basically, you guys literally can start to hack into a lot of the Lagos State ecosystem.
One of the first things we set out to do is to put the hub in proper function. You saw I sent some the demo we have in mind. We are already in talks with Philips Consulting. We signed the MOU May 27th between Vervetree and Philips Consulting to come together and put the hub in play by the end of July. If you see, what we are doing is not just incubating, or the hub is in 3 folds. We have an incubation area, we have a training area. We also find out that there's no soft skill anywhere. So we want to keep bringing people in, train them on program development, software development, social media marketing, so that once you start your thing, you are almost independent.
Ready to go.
So you feel the soft skill is the primary focus.
Yes. And that's why we are also focusing on in-school. Let me give an example. Assuming I've started this while I was in 200 level, by the time I'm graduating, I'll
we're going to let you come back with this year example. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation around the Tech Summit and the tech ecosystem in Ogun State. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still in studio talking to the organizers of Tech Summit and exploring the Ogun State technology ecosystem and the future of the ecosystem. Before we went on break, you were talking about, giving us an example about the experiences you would have liked to have when you were at 200 levels. Tell us about that.
If we've had this type of opportunity while in school, the analogy we normally use is by the time I'm getting to my 400, 500 level, assuming I have a startup, and somebody approached me in 200 level, by the time I have a whole lot of time to incubate, to ideate, 300, 400. By the time I get to 500 level, going on NYC, there's every tendency that I might probably be serving in my own startup company. So make sure that the product is ready while I finish NYC. By the time I'm graduating, I'm probably going to be working for myself and employing 2 or 3 of my friends to work with me. So that was what is driving what we do. If you can reach out to these kids now, while they're in school, your idea is being nurtured. By the time you're getting to your final year, you already have something to work on.
And also, it's like building that muscle, building the muscle of ideation, nurturing, trying different things, experimenting.
So that's you're not expected to, you're not going to be making so much money while in school, but you've started something.
And you are taking us through Vervetree, what Vervetree Hub is going to look like.
It's in 3 folds. We have the incubation area, we have the training area, where there's a project we run, Project V. We call it, in literary meaning, is train to work, where we find out that companies, and Ogun State is also a fast-growing business destination. There's a lot of companies around. So we find out that these companies require some certain technology skills, which they are not willing, they can't get off the market. It's very scarce, and most of the time it's always very expensive. So we now have a training where we train you on different skills, and we look for companies that is looking for those certain skills, and we match you with them.
Fantastic.
And lastly, one of the current one we're working is, like I said, I don't know why I'm very much interested in tertiary institutions. I don't know, but it's, to me, it's a critical.
But that's the critical junction.
Yeah. So we all know that graduating in Nigerian university, we have loads of projects, final year projects that after defending is just relying on one professor's table, nothing done. So what we are doing now is we are reaching out to the institutions as, please, let's sit in some of these project defense, let's hear them out, grade them, give them B, give them C, give them A. We don't, it's not our calling. But after the defense, can we have interaction and take this project beyond the papers they've presented?
Which happens everywhere. I mean, DHL, the day the DHL guy defended his dissertation, it was part of a dissertation, everyone laughed at him saying, nobody's going to ship everything to one place and then ship it out. Yeah. Look at DHL today. You can't even imagine a world without DHL.
Yeah. So that's just some of the things we're going into moving forward now.
So let me ask you, I mean, as you go into these universities, one of the conversations that is a global conversation is about the role of women in technology, especially when it comes to AI, when it comes to developing, because like we've said earlier, representation changes everything. And so when you develop programs, when you develop apps and stuff, the more you have a diverse team, the better they are. How have students been embracing this, these interventions when it comes to actually getting more involved in technology, coding, and stuff like that?
Okay, so, all right, so you're asking
women.
All right, great. Women, well, from where we come from, we have just very few, I think it's a global thing, right? Just very few
women in technology.
Well, we have just, I say about 20% of them that are, not up to 20, that are really interested in tech and really accepting technology. Well, we are actually trying to change the narrative by not, trying to overboard them with, well, you have to code, you have to learn how to code, you have to learn how to develop an app and all of that. There are diverse fields that a woman can actually be really interested in. It might actually interest you that a woman is actually, or a lady rather, she trains other ladies to repair computer systems in Ogun State, right? And that is what she does. And we have females that are actually interested in web development. That is probably just what they find interesting, and they're doing that. We have a lot of females that are interested in just designs because it thrills them. All right, a lot of them might not be interested in writing codes, but by bringing their talent together with some other guy or a lady that does some other stuff, they can actually form a team and actually build, some very great product. So we are not actually trying to, what we do to motivate them is, oh, this is what you know how to do, that's fine. We'll get you someone else that does this and does that, right? So you can consolidate your effort and build a company or a business that thrives.
Excellent. Now, recently the Vice President said in previous generations, the billionaires were made so by oil and gas and other, business endeavors. But the future billionaires are going to all be tech billionaires. Yeah. You agree with this clearly?
Yes,
and this is why you feed into it. But how are you selling this message? You're looking at your focus, I think you're calling in particular, Olaniyi, I know, is for tertiary institutions. But how are you taking it from primary to secondary to really prepare children's minds and really access them as early as possible? Because you've got to catch them young.
Yeah. So, fantastic. While Vervetree is doing its thing with the tertiary institution, right, there's also Rockspace in Abeokuta that is actually interested in, well, not just the tertiary institutions, but catching them from the secondary school, right? So Rockspace, in partner with some other developmental partners in Ogun State, are training students and exposing them to all of these digital skills, coding and the likes, just at that elementary level. And it might interest you. These students really want to come out of secondary school and go study computer science, or go study about AI, or go study about AR, for instance. So we're actually doing quite a lot. Okay, so we could do more, right? We could do more. But
I'm very excited that you said that, because actually, I know you're saying that a lot of women, some of the women you're meeting are not interested in coding, but actually what happens is foundationally, especially when it comes to mathematics, women tend to score higher actually until they get to until after secondary school in math and sciences. And so that's where we actually fall off. So I think that getting kids started as soon as possible, people actually start to understand that coding is just another way. It's actually gamified in most places.
Yes, I know that, interestingly enough, when Tunjun mentioned this about the schools, my kids actually take coding classes in school, and they're under the age of 10.
Yeah.
So they have those...
it's just a language.
Certain games, yes, that are implemented, I guess, in their iPads and things like that, where it becomes more interesting to engage them. So I think that that's some of the things that they could look at, where kids could be
Like you said, we can't wait for the hub to come up.
Yes.
Once the hub is on,
they're able to do much more.
So I want to ask you guys about these hubs and actually sort of about what is the connectivity like when it comes to broadband? Because this is the time to ask, say what you need. Let the world know what you need.
Just last week, Monday, we had a stakeholder meeting with NCC, and luckily for us, Funke Puke was around. That was a question I asked her, that you've done wonderfully well with Yaba. The whole of Yaba is connected. Lagos is fast. In my interest to know, while you're working in Ogun State, once you leave the interchange into Ogun State, into Abeokuta, Spectranet, all these other assets, they mean stop working.
Oh, tell me about it. I remember those days.
The most frustrating thing, because
So it's one of the things we are also pushing is that's why during this summit we actually went to Tizeti. You guys need to show people that you are in Abeokuta, you start working. Tizeti just moved into Abeokuta like 2-3 months ago. So it's working. And we're looking at also bringing in May 1. The conversation I've started, I actually asked Funke during the NCC summit, that stakeholders forum, that we need to have more of the broadband in Ogun State. So she said they're going to look into it, and we are also starting a conversation around, once the hub is going to come up, the critical thing we need is power and internet. And you can't expect us to spend minimum of in a month 2-3 million on internet. It's not sustainable.
That's not sustainable.
So how do you intend to support and assist this thing we are doing? So it's an ongoing conversation.
But do all tertiary institutions in Ogun State have connectivity?
No.
Not all. Very few. Very few. Basically, the private institutions. The one I know for sure is Covenant, because we've done 1 or 2 things together, and I know there's connectivity. But most of all these tertiary institutions, I don't think so.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a big challenge, and that's a big hindrance.
Let me say this. Last year, Tech Summit was I actually brokered the meeting between the state government and May 1. That was when they signed the MOU to allow them lay a 250-kilometer fiber optics around the state. Just last year, June 18, after the summit, that was when they signed the MOU to show you how.
Wow.
Yeah.
The challenges and the strides that have been taken towards what you are doing.
So it's one of the things that we're driving at. We need to have, once that is done.
Well, how many tech hubs are operating in Ogun State right now?
Okay, so like I said, about 5.
5.
Fully functional one.
Fully functioning is what I meant, yeah.
I know that you already had the plans for when you did last year's Tech Summit, and you said that was extremely successful. The feedback, the turnaround, everything was celebrated, and people were very positive about the impact that was made internationally as well as in Ogun State. It was something that wasn't expected. Now, last year was done, this year is done. We're looking forward to next year. What do you have a goal in mind? Is there already a plan? What is to be expected?
All right, so what we do after every Tech Summit is to have a series of information sessions. Okay. All right, localized information sessions in schools, in hubs, just to gather feedback about what other challenges are these startups experiencing. So because this year was not just out of the blues. We just wanted to find out what their challenges were, so that we can bring in panelists to talk about all of these key issues. All right. So over the next couple of months, we're going to be having a series of information sessions.
And that's going to inform your future.
What is going to happen.
Well, it's definitely going to be bigger than this. We're talking about it. This last year was just a day. This year we had 2 days with side exhibition. And the reason for the exhibition is we wanted those kids to see that there are people doing things. We have budget, we have Carry-Wise, we have Paystack, we have Nightpost was around, NCC was around, just to show that things are actually happening in the tech space. Next year, it's going to be bigger.
And I think when you bring something like that to people and they can sort of have this interactions, and they're sort of not things that you just read online or in the papers, they could actually see a real life.
Even those startups are like, really, do you have this pool of talent in this state. I'm like, yes, but people are not just looking towards us.
God, thank you for showing them.
Yes, now people know where to go. And where
Especially the amount of young people that you
Yes.
That's
concentrated in one place.
in one area.
But one thing we are so sure of is next year, whatever days we decide to make it, we're going to have a masterclass that really buttresses
That's what we
some
did
of the
now.
challenges that we're going to be gathering. I mean, the feedback we're going to be gathering from all of these orbs, or these schools, or these talents, or the students, as the case may be. So there's going to be a masterclass for sure.
Hosted by, who's hosting the masterclass? Do you know yet?
Yeah,
We don't
we might not be able to.
One of the things we do is we select our speakers very carefully and we bring in the top notch. God has blessed us with that.
Fantastic. Well,
Fantastic.
we wish you all the best. We want to say
you.
congratulations, and we look forward to having you more and hearing more about the Ogun State Tech.
Thank you.
And we are looking forward for more investment support.
Sure, I'm
to the States.
This is the place
You
to
set
ask
it out
it.
now,
This
it
is
shall
it.
happen.
Once you put it in the world, it will happen.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.